This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Do you remember Aliens?
The movie Aliens?
Yeah.
Of course. Sigourney Weaver?
So there you go. Of course. So Sigourney Weaver, up until that point, you saw her Miss Conservative, all covered up, and then she had the underwear scene, right? And you're like, Sigourney. Oh, right?
Yeah,
Am I
exactly.
right?
You're
Am I
right. You're right. It changed the whole outlook on her.
On her, right? Okay. So I just explained it to her. Did you ever see the movie Night Shift?
Oh, who's in that one again?
Henry Winkler, working at the morgue with
I think I did. Oh, but I can't remember like the details.
the Beetlejuice guy.
Yes.
But what's
Michael
his name?
Keaton.
Michael Keaton. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember the movie. I just don't remember the details of all of it. But yes.
Remember Shelley Long in that movie.
Yes, Shelley Long. I know who she is. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But you know, see, this is Sigourney Weaver like, because you always see her in Cheers like covered up to here, right?
right. I got you.
There was that oven scene where she's in her underwear, and you're like, Shelley Long.
Yes.
I never knew. Now you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
All right. Because some guy brought up Alien, and I just made that immediate correlation. I said, yep, I remember Alien because it was a great movie. And then it was also making Sigourney Weaver all of a sudden a sex symbol that she never was. And Shelley Long was never a sex symbol until you saw Night Shift and you said, Shelley Long. Wow. You know, that's,
right.
Kind of, all right. So I just want to make sure you're kind of that age. So I was wondering if you thought of the same thing overall.
Are you trying to make the comparison that the Canes are getting sexier? Oh, is that what you're trying to get to?
Not until I watch Mario on the Field Coach.
All right. Exactly.
Yeah. Until I need it. Mario needs to make me look at the team sexy because I need to see that he's a difference maker, overall. And I know he's a difference maker as a recruiter, as a human being, as a father-like figure. I know he's exceptional in all those areas. When they get sexy is when I see him on the sidelines, coaching this thing up the right way and being aggressive and things and doing the right things in the right moments and shit. Then I'll start to feel good because I love everything else about Mario. I really do. But I am worried about him on a game day basis. I was always worried about the conservative. But then when I'm watching him every day, the decisions also, and then the whole kneeling thing. Oh my God, bro. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That didn't help him at all.
No, that just took it over the top. That's what's going to, and I'm pretty consistent. I think Mike McDaniel's a mess too on game days. And he needs a shitload of growing up also on game days too. So I'm pretty consistent about that because you see it with Spo, and I've watched it with Larinaga, and I watch it with Shula, and bro, I know what a great coach looks like. I know what the guy looks like that can maximize what you never thought he could maximize. And that's what I've seen from those guys I just mentioned. I've never seen that from a Mike McDaniel yet, or even a Mario Cristobal. I haven't seen that. Although there was, maybe I could say some of it maybe at FIU a little bit, I guess, because he did get to 2 bowl games. So in that place, that's kind of overachieving.
Absolutely. How many other conference championships or bowl games has FIU gone to?
I don't know, not too many, but that I'll say maybe was the last time that Mario Cristobal overachieved. So I kind of need to see. That's what I need to see. That's how I know you're a great coach. When you do the shit I can't expect you to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do we got here? Hold on a second. It says the post has been deleted. What did you send me? What was it before it got deleted?
Hold on a minute. Let me see if I took a Snapchat. All right, it said what I sent you said Barry Jackson sent out base is $3 million per source. Incentives of $5.25 million. Dolphins came up in incentive money to strike deal. good compromise.
That makes sense.
But I don't know why he deleted it that quickly, so I don't know if it's all necessarily so.
My guess is, as a reporter, the agent probably didn't want that out yet.
Or he got corrected by the team.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the two, because either he got the figure wrong,
right,
or Barry's not going to put it out if the agent didn't want it. It's going to be hard. I see it very hard.
You can always get those phone calls back where the agent calls back and says, please, don't put it out yet.
Yeah, you're right.
I've been there many times.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, I've seen that too. I've experienced that, like where they call back, hey, you know what, bro?
Not yet.
Hold off on that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm holding off on a bomb till next March. It's like, it's terrible, bro. I got to sit on a bomb till next March. Oof. I mean, like a bomb, like it would wipe out me like a bomb, and got to sit.
Not fun. Not a fun feeling.
No. The last time I had one was the whole Jordan Love thing, and Omar figured it out because I kept telling everybody, no, he never wanted Tua. Go ahead, go find out. He wanted somebody else in the draft, and it took months, but Omar then finally was the one that, because I could not say anything until, he got fired.
Right.
So, it's kind of the same thing. I got to hold off, unfortunately. So it's just, and you know how it is. Sometimes you have a nugget that you'll never be able to use.
A lot of times, though. A lot of times.
Yeah, a lot of times. And then, like I had a nugget that I shared here a couple of years back on Ryan Tannehill. And one of the reasons why I knew Ryan Tannehill was not a good pick for the Dolphins at number 8, Jeff Ireland hired a scout on the side that did not work for the organization to go scout Ryan Tannehill. So that year, I knew they liked Ryan Tannehill. I couldn't say anything because the scout he hired was my friend.
Right. You would have outed him. You would have been the only source, and everybody would have known.
Yeah, he was at that time. He was one of the guys that I would hang out with all the time on the road.
Yeah.
And when he would come to town, he would call me, and I would take him out. We go somewhere because sometimes when scouts come to town, they'll call me, and we'll go hang out. We'll go somewhere to eat. We'll go drink or something. And so, he and I would hang out all the time. And he goes, "Hey man, guess who hired me?" And I go, "Who?" And he goes, "Your boy Jeff Ireland." I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I need to scout a player, Ryan Tannehill of Texas A&M." So at that point, I already knew that they wanted him, or they were interested in him.
Oh, absolutely.
And I couldn't say shit. And so then he gives him the draft grade, 2nd round.
And they still took him
at number 8 overall.
Yeah.
And so he's one of the guys that would give me like great info on players and
well, that's you bring up an interesting point. That I don't think the public really understands with scouting. Scouts are rarely trusted by front office people. Even if they're told, even if that person does all the investigative work, it still comes down to the front office person saying, "This is what I feel." Even though I didn't see this guy the way you did, I'm still gonna. It's incredible, but
ego
is an MFer, bro.
It's because I tell people all the time. People tell me, "Well, Chris Greer's been there forever." Yeah, you asshole. Because all his reports are on hard drives. And so obviously he must have been putting good reports. They just weren't listening to his ass.
Right.
The people above, you were just a scout. You're a regional scout. You're a college, whatever. And then the GM just doesn't take your word for it. But then the next GM comes and he keeps him. And the next GM comes and why do you think they keep him? Because they went back and said, well, who did he like and who he didn't like? And, well, this guy's more right than wrong. Why am I going to fire this guy?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the assistant coach that you see him that he's worked on 7 teams. He hasn't worked on 7 teams because he's bad. Dude, he's worked on 7 teams because he wasn't the problem in the last 6 stops.
Yep.
They know he's a good coach, but Butch Berry, UM was a disaster when he was there. Denver was a disaster for many years, and now he comes here and he coaches well. Well, then must have been the environment, bro.
Yep.
Must have not been Butch Berry because Butch Berry keeps getting hired. So all I know is when Butch was here at UM, it was a dysfunctional place. When
Right.
he was at Denver, it was a dysfunctional place. Here, it's not dysfunctional. Here, everybody's on the same page. Oh shit, it worked out. So it's like people don't understand that. And you're right. The scout sometimes is taken for granted, and yet, bro, what do you pay him or her for? I mean, Jesus Christ.
They're your eyes and ears on the ground. They see that person more than anybody else. They give you, they know they have to do a good job. Their job is on the line. They're not going to get hired again unless you can trust their word. So why would they, but hey man, it's an interesting just that whole facet to me is like the undercovered part of sports. People don't realize like what goes into scouting and decision making and all that.
I had to wait like 10 years until he retired for me to say that story. Because he's retired, so now he don't
doesn't
give
care
up
anymore. Yeah.
He doesn't care anymore. He's retired, so
Right.
all right, we're good. And so it's just like, but it's funny, dude. Like he goes to me, no, I gave him the report, and I go, so what'd you say? Oh, he's a second round quarterback. You got it. He's a project.
Yep.
And then I see the draft, and I'm thinking, okay, second round, they're gonna go for him, And bro, it was the 8th pick, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
So I already knew what that report entailed, and I was like, okay, it's done. It is what it is. All right, so what do we got recruiting-wise for the Canes?
Well, obviously the transfer portal window for the spring just ended, and we may have a couple more exits, guys that just kind of are buried on the depth chart that are looking to go somewhere else. Those names at some point may or may not pop in, but they're still looking to add some guys. They hosted Simeon Barrow, who's the defensive tackle from Michigan State. I think Barrow's going to be deciding soon whether Miami, LSU, or Missouri. Tyler Barron, an edge rusher from Tennessee, who played at Tennessee and then transferred to Louisville, got back in the portal. He had an injury, kept him out this spring, shoulder injury, and I guess he's deciding whether or not Miami, Ole Miss, or somebody else. And then I think there's another kid at cornerback that they're looking at, D'Angelo Pounds. Gabby Urrutia reported this one from 247 Sports. James Madison, kid, cornerback from South Florida, who could potentially be another DB that they add. I said they wanted to add 2 DBs this offseason. They got 1 so far, so they can add another one. The thing that people need to understand is even though the window's closed, you can still add guys all the way up until August. So as long as their name is in the portal, then they're fine. They're available. So that's what's going to happen.
By the way, I just got it confirmed. $3 million is the base.
Okay, so there you go
for Odell.
OBJ.
Yeah, it is $3 million. So $5 million is incentives.
Yeah,
$3 million base. That is nothing, dude. That's a Chris Greer special right there. That's a Chris. Baltimore paid 16. They're paying 3. All right. So what names are you hearing? Is there any names specifically? Because they got some guys that they were targeting this past go around here.
Yeah. Well, I just mentioned them. Simeon Barrow, Tyler Barron, D'Angelo Pounds are 3 names to watch. Pounds is the cornerback. Barron and Barron and Barrow.
Is there one that they're really after? Like, that's what I'm saying. I know.
I think the D tackle. I think Barrow is the guy they really, really want. I think D tackles are hard to get in college football, right? Guys that are starting caliber D tackles, that would be an upgrade over some of the guys that they have. They like who they got in the portal in the January period. They like both the NC State kid and the Middle Tennessee State kid, which is why some other guys have left. So they like what they have, but this is just like adding more sugar on top. This is just making you deeper and better at a position where, man, we've got 4 quality guys at D tackle we really, really like.
All right, good stuff. All right, what else are they working on? What else are you working on?
Well, we just did an ACC mailbag. Me and Grace Rayner and Brendan Marks, who covers North Carolina basketball, Duke, and all the UNC schools. We just did a mailbag talking about looking ahead to the football season and what the offseason has entailed. And we're gonna have another one that comes out Monday that talks a lot about realignment, because everybody's obviously watching what's going on with Florida State and Clemson. They can decide basically by August of this year if they're going to leave after the 2025 season. Legally, there's 5 court cases that are sort of ongoing. I put it on my Twitter timeline yesterday. Chris Vanini, who's one of our national writers, just wrote a big story, kind of encompassing everything you want to know. In case you haven't been keeping up with Clemson and FSU's legal battle, this is like the perfect outline. It's a perfect education. What's going on with that situation? So we're going to have a mailbag where we kind of talk about some of the potential scenarios if Florida State and Clemson sort of working out of court settlement to get out of the league. The interesting thing with the ACC, ESPN has an option in 2027 that they can basically say, hey, actually this coming February is when they have to make that decision, but they can say, hey, you know what, we're not going to pick up the last 9 years of the contract through 2036. We're just gonna have a TV deal with the ACC through 2027, which then creates a scenario where if Miami is unable to get into the Big Ten or the SEC, where they really are going to be screwed and sort of out of the picture. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. Me personally, I think Florida State and Clemson are going to reach some sort of legal agreement with the ACC to get out, the same way Maryland did before it went to the Big Ten. And then it's going to be on Miami at that point to try to work their way into the Big Ten, in my opinion. I think that's where they have to go to financially keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. So
Wow.
We'll see. But it's an interesting, just, college football used to be about the games and recruiting. It's much more than that these days. So there's so many more discussions just about TV deals and which league you're going to be in, and NIL. It's really become a much more complicated issue than just the games.
It's all about money, bro. All
Yeah.
about money. That's all they give a shit about. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And, of course, catch his work there at The Athletic. Manny, as always, my brother, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
No problem, brother. Good talking to you.
Have a great weekend. There you go, Manny Navarro. Canesware's got a 2-day sale going on right now. You can save 20 to 50% on all apparel, clothes, headwear, footwear, all teams. Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, Inter, Marlins, Heat. They've got it all for you. 2655 South University Drive in Davie, right next to La Spada. I'm already getting hungry just mentioning the words La Spada. Anyway, caneswear.com. Remember, you can use my code BIG010. You will get 10% off. And if you can't go there personally, you can order online. And if you go over $99, you will get free shipping. So they've got a 2-day sale going on right now. Make sure you take advantage at caneswear.com.
This is the